Dishonored 2 was one of my most anticipated games of last year, but like most other games I was excited for, it disappointedly launched with severe performance issues that pushed away a lot of potential customers. But after almost an entire year and a multitude of patches, it finally works, and I can conclusively say it's pretty good. The original Dishonored was one of the best stealth games to come out in a long time, and whether you were a fan or not, its sequel is something that I almost feel inclined to recommend to fans of great level design. From Lady Boyle's last party and the flooded district in the first game, to a crack in the slab and the edge of the world, the team at Arcane has only gotten better and better. But there's one level in the second game that goes above and beyond. One that I think captures the essence of the Dishonored games. A level called the Clockwork Mansion. Dishonored 2's level design in general emphasizes three basic components: player expression, environmental storytelling, and emergent gameplay. Most areas are designed to allow the player to approach problems as they see fit. They're set up to balance out interactions between systems, so you don't get ridiculous scenarios when some blood flies come out of nowhere, and in the background there's a story that the level and its smaller spaces are trying to tell. Whether it's the home of the Duke or the streets of Karnaca, these three principles are paramount, and the Clockwork Mansion is a sort of microcosm of them, giving a succinct and comprehensive example of each, so let's look at how. The main objective for this mission is to disable Kirin Jindosh, master inventor of Karnaca, before he can complete his army of clockwork soldiers. There's also another objective, but I don't want to spoil it. In order to do either of these things, you'll need to traverse through Jindosh's Clockwork Mansion. This labyrinth of gears, pulleys, shifting walls, and disappearing floors is an absolute marvel of animation and architectural design. Apart from being just a cool spectacle, watching the walls and floors retract and move to reveal an entirely different room, this entire concept actually makes sense. You can see how it would work in the real world. You can see how the ceilings come out and form. You can see where the walls collapse into and how they come out. And if you happen to get stuck inside of a wall, there's always a button, smartly placed, that allows you to redo the transformation and free yourself. A big part of why this level is so amazing comes down to just how tricky it is to get something like this right. In an interview, Christoph Carrier, one of the level designers at Arcane, even stated that the challenge of properly animating this house required the team to create specific tools that didn't exist yet, just for this level. Ensuring that the AI didn't break when they became trapped in the walls, on top of making sure components moved at the same speed, time, and in the correct order without clipping through other surfaces and objects, was incredibly difficult. But on top of the technical challenge, there were the architectural challenges. As much as this had to be a cool level, the house also had to function as an actual house. So to combat this, every part of the house, whether it was an area that transforms or not, has a specific function that is in some way controlled by the unique characteristics of the Clockwork Mansion. Jindosh's bedroom can spin around to reveal a secret room, entire rooms can be raised or lowered like luxurious elevators, and this one's my favorite, Jindosh's servants can set the dinner table in the lower floor and then raise it up to the billiard room for him and his guests. That's so cool. And even further still, the spaces between these fantastical contraptions, the spaces where servants clean and rest and store things, kinda like the Ratman caves in Portal, had to be accounted for and make sense. To avoid these spaces being too confusing and detracting from the player's spatial understanding of the house, each space supplies you with a new vantage point of a larger area, so you can connect the space between the walls with the walls themselves. But the Clockwork Mansion doesn't just make sense from an architectural or technical standpoint, it's also just a masterfully designed level. In a GDC talk, Arcane Studios' Steve Lee spoke about some of the principles of design in their game, specifically Dishonored 2. During his talk, he mentions the idea of creating a consistent visual language throughout the game. Doors that can be opened look one way, and ones that can't look another, and those two meshes are never allowed to overlap. Same goes for windows, surfaces that can or cannot be vaulted over, and most notably, electrical hazards. When you see something like a wall of light, you know that it's running on electricity, either from a whale oil tank or a windmill, and that if you can disable its energy source, you can disable the wall. This consistent language means that level designers can hide these energy sources from the player in interesting ways, knowing that they'll eventually find it with or without the bright orange cable, because they've been made aware that there has to be one somewhere. So right around the start of the Clockwork Mansion, when you're presented with a wall of light, you can see this cable go into the ground with no obvious path to follow it. unless you transform the room and slip into the space between the floors and voila, the whale oil tank. The Clockwork Mansion has loads of these sorts of gameplay ideas, hiding things in spaces that require a bit of clever problem solving by moving the walls, like this hidden bone charm in this pantry, or this neat corpse in between an elevating room. Probably the best example of this, though, is the guest area. There's an elevator at the end of the room, and an arc pylon in the middle that's revealed by one of the guards. If you're fast enough, you can stop that from happening, and this area becomes a lot easier. But if you aren't fast enough, the language of the level and the game so far do give you some opportunities to get around this. Because you know that the arc pylon is running on electricity, you know there must be a whale oil tank somewhere, and if you slip through the space between the walls, you can find it, or you can just make your way around that space using the elevator shaft without even entering the room. Or you can be petty and sneak underneath the arc pylon, pressing the button, because remember, each one of these things has a button connected to it that lets you redo the animation without having to be outside of the place, and flip it over without ever needing to hit any of the levers in the room. That one section, I think, shows off so much of what makes the Clockwork Mansion such a marvel. It gives the player the opportunity to approach the problems it presents in interesting ways, using its incredibly unique approach to level design. It touches on the power of the consistent language used throughout the game and how the different designers can use it in interesting ways. Its sheer existence influenced the creation of the tools that allowed for the rail carriages and secret doors to operate, and is a testament to why taking a risk on a technically challenging idea can be worthwhile. Few levels capture the essence of a game this well, and fewer still could be the perfect match for this insanely ingenious inhabitant.